Hi, it's Elise here at Bowman Library, the whole new middle grade book spotlight. So we are entering week 4, that's right, week 4 of our 2022 summer reading, Oceans of Possibilities. And that means it's time for a whole new theme, a whole new batch this week. So we are all about possibilities of fantastical beings. That's right, we are exploring books, mainly fantasy, mainly some mythology stuff, that feature fantastical beings, creatures, monsters, anything you can think of that could possibly be made up. That's what we're taking a look at. So we have 6 amazing books to kind of give us some inspiration. So let's get started. Our first one is The Serpent Secret. So Kieran Mala, also known as Kieran, is growing up in New Jersey, and her parents have always told her that she is a real Indian princess. But she never believed them, really, until her 12th birthday. It is then that she comes home from school to find her parents missing. And in their place, there's a Rakosh, or this Indian demon, in her house who is there waiting to eat her. The only way she escapes is when 2 Indian brothers who are also princes come and they help her flee. Kieran then finds herself in a place called the Kingdom Beyond, which is an alternate dimension where her parents are being held captive. She also learns that she is indeed an Indian princess, and she's had a spell over her, protecting her this whole time, until she turned 12 years old, and then the spell was lifted. Hence, the Indian demon waiting for her to come home from school to be eaten. It will be up to Kieran and her new friends to help save her parents before they are eaten by this Indian demon. And this non-stop action-filled Indian mythology is one that you will not be able to put down. Now, this is the first in a series. You'll be wanting to know what happens with Kieran every step of the way. I will tell you, you do need to read the series in order, so definitely start with The Serpent Secret. Beast Keeper. So this one is the first in the series as well. 11-year-old demon meets his father at the beginning of her book for the first time ever, and he finds out that his father is really the god known as Pan. So he's a demigod. Look at that. Demon has no idea what to think about this, especially when he is then sent to Mount Olympus to be in charge of the stables of the gods, which houses all of their animals, creatures, good and bad, that type of stuff. He's not expecting any of this, he's super confused. It's while he's working at the stables that he meets other people from Greek mythology that you know as well, such as, Pegasus, the Hydra, and even, who's supposed to be a hero, that would be Hercules. But in our story here, Hercules is not the hero that he's portrayed to be in Greek mythology. Demon realizes that he also has the ability to speak to animals and creatures, and before he knows it, he has this reputation of being this amazing beast keeper because he's able to talk to animals. He knows what's wrong with them. He knows what they need. He's able to heal them. But then when Hercules kind of goes off the rails, it's going to be up to Demon to put a kibosh to it and to keep their animals safe. This humorous and different look at Greek mythology is one that you will lead to laughing out loud. And if you love your books filled with humor, this is the series for you. This is Beast Keeper. The Magnificent Monsters of Cedar Street. The world Cordelia lives in has real-life monsters, but many people do not know they actually exist. Her father, though, is basically a veterinarian to these monsters, helping them when they are injured or sick. One day, though, Cordelia's father goes missing, and all that's left is just this mysterious note, as well as many of the monsters that need help, and Cordelia decides that she's going to go, and she needs to go and find her father, and she needs to save him. With help from her zombie puppy named Gregory, they go on an adventure all over the country, as well as into Canada, and she starts to realize that humans can be just as bad as some of the monsters that they are so afraid of. You will love learning and reading about the numerous magical creatures that can be found in this world as you go on this epic journey with Cordelia to rescue her father. This is The Magnificent Monsters of Cedar Street. A dash of trouble. So Lenora is the 5th daughter in a family of witches. But she doesn't know that yet. She has no idea that her family is a family of witches. She's caught up in this feeling, though, that she wants to help her family as they grow closer to Dia de los Muertos, but she's told she is too young to help, and she doesn't understand why. Like, she wants to help them. She wants to help them in their bakery. Her family owns a bakery that they make these amazing treats that people come all over for, but they won't let her. So she decides she's going to do what anyone else would do. She starts snooping around to find out what the big secret is. Like, why can't she help them? And then she, discovers this cookbook, this baking guide that's all written in Spanish. She doesn't really know what it says. So she decides she's going to make some stuff up. And before she knows it, she discovers she has the ability to add magic to her cooking and her baking. But then she also creates this mess that may be impossible to clean up. And it's not just a figurative mess, it's an actual mess as well as maybe destroying the family. Not knowing who to turn to, she knows she's going to need to go to her family for help, but she also doesn't want to get into trouble because she was doing stuff that she wasn't supposed to do, and the end result may actually surprise her. If you like witches, magic, baking, all mixed together, you will totally enjoy this one. This is the first in a series. This is a dash of trouble. The Glass Town Game. Now, I will tell you, this is a bit of a hefty read. But if you like historical figures mixed into fantasy, this is it. So based on the childhood writings of the Bronte sisters, we meet Emily and Charlotte as they are getting ready to leave home from being on vacation to go to their boarding school. But this is a really hard time for them because while they were home, 2 of their older sisters passed away from the fever. They still haven't really grieved. They don't want to leave to go to school, but they find themselves leaving home. Now, while at the train station, though, they're there along with their other sister Anne as well as their brother Branwell. They are there to see them off. The 4 of them, while at this train station, find themselves not at the station, but instead they are on this magic train that is taking them to this imaginary town that they created through their stories. Like this town they created called Glass Town, in their stories, is now coming to life. It is then that they realize that everything they created within this town has come to life as well. The characters, the places, the things they eat, everything. As well as all of the rules are actually in effect, and they are also binding. At first, they are good and happy to be there. They think it's actually pretty cool that this town they've made has come to life. But when Anne and Branwell are kidnapped, it's going to be up to Emily and Charlotte to rescue them and then figure out how they are going to get out of this imaginary town that they've created, but was never supposed to come to life, because when it actually is life, there are things that don't work out like how they thought they would in an imaginary town. This adventure-packed fantasy is one that will keep you wondering what would happen if your imagination came to life. Would you want to get out of it? Would you want to be there? Who knows? This is Glass Town Game. And our last one for this week is Rusha and the End of Time. So Rusha lives with her mother in a museum of ancient Indian art and culture. As she is famous for spinning stories to her classmates, when they call her out for some of the lies that they think she's been telling, she decides that she is going to prove to them that she's not lying, that she's telling the truth. And she decides, in order to do this, she's going to light this ancient lamp from the museum that should not be lit. When she does this, she accidentally releases the Sleeper. This is a creature who is destined to end time. This is why this creature was never supposed to be let out of this lamp. Aru discovers that instead that she's a Pandava, which is a sibling who can defeat the Sleeper. It's now going to be up to her, along with her soul sister and fellow Pandava, Mimi, to stop the Sleeper before the end of the world comes. It's going to be up to them. They are saving humanity. Filled with references to Hindu mythology, if you are a fan of Percy Jackson, you will love this series. There are 3 books in the series. There's a 4th one on the way. They just turned it into graphic novels. Highly recommend it. Again, this is a series, so you do have to read it in order, so make sure you start with the first one, Rusha and the End of Time. So these are 6 of the books we have here at the library that are inspired by the possibilities of fantastical beings. So I encourage you to come on out, check out one of these, or we have plenty of others that deal with possibilities of fantastical beings as well, that we can totally help you find. Because here's the deal, this is our badge for this week. By watching this book talk, you've completed the first activity. Reading one of these or a book like it, that's another activity. You go on the list, you pick one more, guess what? You've earned the Possibilities of Fantastical Being badge. You've earned a virtual ticket to enter in for another prize. You probably read enough to get another free book. So I encourage you, jump on Beanstack. If you haven't signed up for summer reading, you can do that as well, right on Beanstack, or you can come into the library, we'll help you out. But make sure you are tracking the amazing activities that you are completing in order to make sure you get the badge and the tickets and the books. Next week, we will have week 5, that's right, week 5 of our Oceans of Possibility summer reading, our new theme. And I hope you tune back next week for that amazing book talk, and I hope you have a great week.